I'm joined here today by the one, the only. It is, of course, Raymond Daniels, who we know this time is coming off the victory over Peter Statonik. What's going on, sir? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just happy to be back in Southern California, you know what I mean? And it's blessed to wake up on Sunday, enjoy the day with my family, with my wife, so just enjoying it.
It's got to feel good to hear the words victory this time. Last time we did do an interview afterwards, and we're talking about the groin strike the whole time. This time, no groin strike to end the fight. This time, we got the victory.
Yeah, no, definitely. It definitely felt good to put a period on the end of that and into that story, into that chapter as I move forward, onward and upward. Because I did hear a lot about that, but I'm not a person that believes the hype, so to speak. Whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, people will always have something to say, positive or negative, about what you're doing. There's at no point in time that I've ever done anything and everyone has liked what it is that I do. Whether I did something great like a 720 punch, it's unrealistic. He can never do that again. That was so lucky. Or kick somebody in the balls. Oh, he's a dirty fighter. He's trying to, so I don't let what other people say ever bother me, just because, again, I don't believe my own hype. And but I wanted to make sure I gave Peter that rematch because I think that everybody should get an opportunity to rematch. There's a lot of guys that fights will end on like eye pokes and stuff like that, it's like that bedtime story you're telling a child and they don't get to hear the end of it. They always want to stay up a little bit later so they can hear the end.
For sure. Did you hear a lot of negativity going into this fight about the groin strike? And so, 'cause I saw both things. I saw negativity for that. And I saw a lot of positivity because everybody's like, "Oh, here comes Daniels. Did the 720 punch," and I saw a lot of exciting highlights. What kind of stuff did you hear going into this fight?
Yeah, I heard a lot of positive, a lot of negative things. A lot of people are always excited because my style of fighting is totally different. Like, I don't think that there's anybody in any combat sports that has maybe a highlight reel like I do of knockouts. They maybe have, one, say, front kick knockout or one spinning hook kick knockout. I have like dozens of them. You know what I mean? So the fact that I missed and hit a groin shot, and I'm just like, oh, but if you check my resume, I actually have a long list of successful times. And then the one time, well, technically two in one, but that I kind of missed my target. Even though the best sniper in the world might miss their target once or twice, but I landed the same kick over and over consistently on this rematch fight. So I did hear some negative stuff going into it. Even going into it, I know Peter had done a couple of interviews, and I was kind of offended. He did apologize to me later, but I was kind of offended that he felt like I kicked him in the groin on purpose, when I was just like, I reached out to him personally on a private message just saying, hey, I apologize. I was the one that was offering the rematch to him because the fight ended that way. And I never want a fight to end that way. That's not who I am. That's, I'll fight anyone at any time, any place. And not because anything, but I just love what I do.
Did you feel like that messed with your reputation a little bit? 'Cause it's like, oh, it really doesn't take a whole lot. Like we saw Leon Edwards. Now everyone's talking about how he's a dirty fighter, and it's something that happens once. Did you feel like that sort of messed with how people look at you as a fighter?
Well, I think people are like that because some people say haven't followed my career. So that's the first time they saw me. It went viral that, oh, this world class kickboxer. They're like, never spin again. You don't know how to spin. It's like, well, if you actually check my resume, I actually have a whole lot of those things. Even during that fight, I happen to miss those. But yeah, I don't think it necessarily messed up my reputation. But some people in their thought process about things and the way that they kind of Monday night quarterback, I think it's always easier for someone to say something about something than to actually do it. So people always like to put in their 2 cents about how they feel about a person. So yeah, it kind of did put a little damper on kind of like the mood, so to speak. But again, I don't allow those personal feelings because I don't know those people personally. All the people that know me, that love me, that I share time and energy with, they know who I am, what type of person I am, and they know that obviously I would never do anything like that purposely.
Did you feel like you had a point to prove a little bit? Like, look, guys, like spinning's my thing, and it's not because it happened negatively once or twice that it's going to stop me from doing what it is that I do when I'm out there, whether it's in the cage or in the ring.
Yeah, no, I definitely had to go through that mental conversation even with myself about like, oh, do you want to throw the spins?
Right.
Oh, what happens if you accidentally hit him in the balls again? I'm like, that'd be the worst thing like ever. You know what I mean? It was just it's a conversation I honestly had to have with myself. Like, I'm like, no, do what you do. I'm like, that does not happen often. And that was a setup just for things play out the way they're supposed to play out, just so they could, you know what I mean? Peter got another opportunity to get in front of the Bellator lights again. But for me, yeah, I definitely thought about it, and I had that conversation, and I realized I'm just gonna go out and do what I do. I'm gonna go out and be me. I love the spin kick. Anybody, I mean, in that same fight, he kicked me in the groin 2 times first. So if you look at it, if you like we were big kids, I'm like, well, he started it. He kicked me twice, and then I got my 2 kicks. My 2 kicks just happened to be harder than his 2 kicks, but he still committed the same 2 fouls. Whose fouls are worse? It's the same foul. But that being said, I did definitely had to have that conversation, and I know a spin kick is the hardest kick you can kind of throw in all combat sports. It's the hardest technique, the most powerful technique. So I know that it has a lot of damage, and if it hits the wrong target, like unfortunately it did those times, I can have that result. So I apologize to him, to my fans, to everybody repeatedly on that. And that's why I wanted to go out. It was very important for me to have this fight again, just to make sure I kind of like brush that off. And then I wanted to go out and make sure I put a stamp on it. You know what I mean? Personally, just to make sure I go out and kind of have such a dominant performance that all the people are like, "Oh, you were losing that fight," and I'm like, "Come on," like, you know what I mean? It was a very, just an interesting thing to see people's perspectives when a fight happens in that way. When you're in there fighting, kind of what's going on. You know whether you have the advantage or don't have the advantage actually in a fight.
So we talk about the spinning kicks a little bit. Last thing on this, because I have to get your take on it, but there's someone who has a reputation for splitting open the bags and stuff like that. Has the greatest spinning kick in the world and stuff. A certain podcaster, Joe Rogan, right? He's got the big reputation as the guy when it comes to the kicks. As a fellow spinning kick person yourself, how do you feel about Joe Rogan? Is the hype justified for someone like that?
No, he's got a really nice spin kick. I've seen him. I saw him on this video showing GSP how to do it. I think he throws it really well. Some people I think throw the spin kick and they put themselves at high risk. It's really hard to go under the lights and actually do it. A lot of people will practice something or maybe do it in the gym, but when it becomes time to get on kind of like the big stage, they're not wanting to do it. That being said, Joe Rogan, when he does throw his spin kick, he does throw it in what I call dimensions. He throws it in the correct dimension. A lot of people don't throw their spin kicks in the proper dimension, so therefore they don't generate enough force and torque. Joe Rogan generates a lot of force and a lot of torque because he throws it in the second dimension, which is the only one is the lowest tier. So there's I have 1 through 5. He throws it in a second, so I only recommend throwing it in 2 through 5. He does that, and I think he does a really good job doing it. I wouldn't want to get hit by his spin kick because it looks really powerful. You know what I mean? So I just have a whole bunch of different ways to be able to throw that technique.
Okay, so I have to stir the pot a little bit because I know you're a competitive guy. Everyone that's in this game is competitive, and I'm sure you see this coming. But who's got the better spin kick? Putting you on the spot on this one.
Oh, I would definitely have to say myself. I mean, I'm a competitor, but I can throw my spin kick in so many different ways. I have an entire highlight reel of videos of hundreds of spin kicks where I'm just dropping people over and over. So, and I can spin on both sides of my body, my right, my left. It doesn't make a difference. So I would have to say myself.
There we go. You have some fights that are coming up, not for yourself, but for people that you're close to. Let us know what do you kind of have coming up on the schedule for that.
Oh, I got some really stuff. I actually get sometimes more nervous for other people's fights, than I do mine because when I'm in there, I'm in control of the
Right.
situation. I'm in control of that, what's going down. So it's all in my hands, and I don't have anybody to blame but me. But I have two awesome people going in. One first and foremost is my beautiful wife, Colby Northcutt Daniels. She'll be fighting for one championship coming up on it's technically the 29th in Singapore, but it'll be the 28th here. So the 29th is actually my birthday. So it's awesome that she'll be fighting on my birthday. It's an amazing birthday gift to get your significant other, the woman you love, opportunity on your birthday to go out there and pursue her dreams. So I get really nervous. I'll be her. They have different laws right now going on because of COVID and stuff. So we normally have multiple coaches and stuff over there with her, but I'll be her only cornerman over there. So even that makes me a little bit more nervous. Just what I mean, because not only am I her coach, and I don't mind being someone's coach, but then it's my wife that's actually doing it. It's a little bit, it's a little bit different, but. I'm really excited. She's been training really hard. We've actually been going through, this is the first time we've actually had a camp at the same time, through the entire process, she actually wasn't able to come to my fight. Because she had to stay back home, and because I was only a few weeks away from, when we have to leave for her fight, because we leave on Wednesday, so I'll be home for 2 3 days, and then we're off to Singapore. So I'm really excited for her. She's gonna go out there and she's gonna put on a dominant performance. I'm very confident in her ability and her skill set, and I don't think all the MMA world knows who she is, but she will be coming to a TV near you soon.
Sounds good. And you've also working with Juan Archuleta, I believe, coming up soon. That's gonna be a lot of traveling for you. I feel like you're gonna be in and out of places for a very long time.
Yes, exactly. So I'm gonna make sure my wife just got me some Oculus
But
for she got me as an early birthday present. So I'm gonna be in the hotel room, just like you
yeah,
might see me running into a wall in a video or anything. And notice I was on the little 3D gaming, but no, yeah, I'll be doing a lot of traveling, and then my man Juan Archuleta's got a big fight coming up against Sergio Pettis. Juan is a homegrown Bellator champion. He is a workhorse. I've always considered myself an in shape athlete, and I'm always just like, like I work really hard. I've never really let anybody outwork me in training sessions, and I thought I was probably, I thought I was just the best conditioned athlete. Went over to the garage with Coach Sam Calavita, totally changed my life. It humbled me in so many ways, but I have never seen someone work as hard as Juan Archuleta. I mean, every athlete in the garage, even when TJ's in there, even when Aaron Pico's in there, Juan is just such a workhorse and just pushes himself like every time. So I'm really excited about this fight with him and Sergio. Sergio has a good like martial arts style, so I've been in Juan's ear helping him out to be able to combat that karate style of fighting and stuff like that. But Juan picks up stuff so fast, and his wrestling pedigree is ridiculous. So I'm really excited. I think it's a great matchup for Juan, and I think Juan will dominate it. The fight itself, Juan has knockout power, but Sergio is really tough. I think Juan will just kind of dominate each and every round.
all right. And so one last question, coming back to you, but what's next for you at this point? We put all this growing stuff out of the way. No more. This opponent chapter's over. What's next for Raymond Daniels at this point?
Yeah, well, I mean, one, Bellator made it a lot easier for me because they created a ratings list for the welterweight division, so they actually gave me some targets to shoot at, to aim for, so to speak. But I'm not a guy that likes to really wait in line, to be honest. You can even ask my wife; she's always upset at me because I haven't taken her to Disneyland. It's because I'm allergic to lines. I don't like to wait for anything. So that being said, I want to go straight to see the Wizard, which is Douglas Lima. If I have to, go through a couple people in order to do that, I'll make sure that I do that. But this actually was my last contract to fight with Bellator. So that being said, I went into my last fight, and I don't have any more fights with them. So I hope that Bellator and Showtime sees my value and would like to keep me around. You know what I mean? So it'll be a kind of an interesting, to see kind of what happens, or what they come back at me with as far as for my new contract and stuff like that. But my goal is to climb that list. I'm very happy at Bellator. I consider it my home. I really Scott Coker does an amazing job. So I really like the staff and everybody there. So I like to stay there. That's where I'm comfortable with. But if that doesn't work out, then that's unfortunate. And obviously, I have to continue to take my talents where they're valued or wanted, so to speak. But otherwise, besides that, yeah, I'm just going to continue to train, continue to push myself, training over at Training Lab with Mark Munoz, Sam Calavita, with Juan and those guys, a classic fight team with Tyler Wambos and my jiu-jitsu coach, Joe Murphy. My wife and I at this camp also went up to Alpha Male to train with Uriah, and had some amazing people up there like Andre Feely, Ryan Lawler, Alex Munoz, Chris Gonzalez. So got a chance to train with some amazing wrestlers. So continue to grow my tool set, as people got to see a little bit more in this fight, that I'm not trying to be the best kickboxer in the world anymore. It's kind of like almost like I've been there, done that situation. Now I'm here to be the best MMA fighter in the world. And it's always the GOAT, God over all things, and trying to be the greatest of all time, constantly evolving myself.
There we go. Dropping the scoop on us a little bit, right? Letting us know about the contract. It's going to be very
And
exciting to
you
see how
gotta
it
gotta
plays
let the
out.
world know at the same time. Gotta let people know, like, oh, okay, well, what are
Yeah.
they gonna do? You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's your career at the end of the day. Like, it's only for a certain amount of time, and you have to put yourself in the best position you can.
Exactly, definitely. I think it's very important. And sometimes, it'll go unspoken and you're just like, oh, this person's a free agent and no one
Yeah.
ever heard about it because it was things that happened kind of like behind the scenes and stuff like that when there was maybe people that would have reached out to them if they would have said something.
Well, there we go. Well, it's out there now. Thank you so much for the time, sir. I really appreciate it. We got this done pretty quickly after the fight,
Yeah.
so I really do appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem at all, man. Well, you have a great day. All right.